computer's frozen. There we go. All right, solving absolute value equations. So my goal for today, I want you guys to be able to say, I can remember how to get rid of the absolute value symbols so that I can solve equations. So, quick review from yesterday. If I have a very basic absolute value equation, the absolute value of x equals 7, how do I get rid of these absolute value symbols? I want x all alone on one side. I don't want the little absolute value things there. So all I have to do is take whatever is inside the absolute value, in this case it's just x, and I make it equal to the other side of the equation, in this case just 7, or x equals the other side of the equation, negative. And I want to talk, we didn't talk about this yesterday, but I could plug this in to prove that it's true. So my answer is x equals 7 or x equals negative 7. If I want to check it, I would say the absolute value of 7, that is 7. Yay, that checks. The absolute value of x when x is negative 7 also equals a positive 7. So remember, the absolute value of a negative number is just that same number, positive. So these check out. These are correct, they work, and that's kind of the simplest type of problem that you'll see with absolute value. Now, there's one case when that doesn't actually work. What if I gave you a problem like this? The absolute value of x equals negative 10. Well, I can just do this. X, that's what's inside my absolute value, equals negative 10, or x equals negative 10, right? What is negative 10? Negative 10, that's just positive 10. So x is negative 10 or x is 10? Oh. Wait, I thought I said that this was not going to work. Let's just plug it in just to check. Let's see if this actually works. So negative 10 for x. What is the absolute value of negative 10? The absolute value of negative 10 is 10. Wait, I'm supposed to get negative 10. What's going on here? How come this didn't work? Why can I not solve this problem? Think about what this is saying. The absolute value of a number is negative 10. Can I ever have an absolute value of anything equaling a negative number? No, never. So this is no solution. If you ever see an equation that says the absolute value of something equals a negative number, there is no solution. Based on just the definition of what absolute value is, right? The definition of absolute value, it is always going to be a positive number. So in your notes, I would probably write a little note to yourself. The absolute value can never equal a negative number. So then, we started to look at these yesterday, but we looked at problems that have slightly more complicated complicated. We call this arguments, which just means an argument is an expression. So this has a slightly more complicated argument in the absolute value. But the process is the same. I'm going to take whatever's inside my absolute value, x minus 7, set it equal to 7, or x minus 7 equals negative 7. So notice, the thing that I'm making positive and negative is this number over here. Right? 7 or negative 7. And now I have to solve this. I'm not quite done. So I add 7 to both sides. I get x equals 14. Or add 7 to both sides over here. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. So my final answer is x equals 14 or x equals 0. Let's try plugging that in just to check our work. So I'm going to check over here. The absolute value of, I said that x could be 14. So what is the absolute value of 14 minus 7? Remember I said the absolute value is sort of like parentheses. We're going to do the argument inside of the absolute value first. So the first thing I do here is 14 minus 7, which is 7. And the absolute value of 7 is equal to 7. So that one worked out. Let's check the other answer. So I said x could be 0. What is 0 minus 7? 0 minus 7, oh, that's just negative 7. And the absolute value of negative 7 is also 7. So that one also checked out. This really does work. I want you guys to always remember that you can check your work when you're solving equations. Alright. Let's take a look at another problem. 2x plus 1 inside the absolute value equals, I just did 7. Oh wait, sorry, that's not what I wanted to write. Almost wrote 7 again, and I said too many 7s. So I have something inside an absolute value equaling 9. To solve that, I take what's inside my absolute value, I make it equal 9, or that same thing could be negative 9. Now I have to solve these. So subtract 1 from both sides. 2x equals 8. Divide both sides of this by 2. X equals 4. Or I have to solve this one all the way through. Subtract 1 from both sides. 2x equals negative 10. Divide both sides by 2. X equals negative 5. And those are my answers. X is either 4 or negative 5 in this case. All right. How about this one? The absolute value of 3x minus 2 equals negative 127. What's my first step here? Is there something weird about this problem?
3x minus 2 equals... Wait, it can be solved because there's minus.
Yeah, good. You got this far and then you realized, wait a second, what is on that other side? What about this number makes it so that I cannot solve this problem? The negative. There's no way that an absolute value of any number could possibly come out to negative 127. So for this one, I would just simply write no solution. There is no solution to that. We're out of luck. All right. do another one. The absolute value of 5x plus 3 equals 13. Okay, what's my first step?
To make 5x plus 3 equals 13, and 5x plus 3 equals negative 13.
Excellent. I know that this 5x plus 3 has to either be 13 or negative 13. Beautiful. What do I do next?
Solve for
Yeah, so let's look at this one first. How would I solve this one? 5x plus 3 equals 13. What's the first step to solving that?
subtract 3.
Subtract 3. So I end up with, on the left side, I have 5x plus 3 minus 3, so what's left on the left side?
5x equals 10.
5x. And then on the other side, just like you said, 13 minus 3 is 10. What's the next step? 5x equals 10. I want x all alone, but this 5 came in and put itself next to x.
Divide.
Divide by 5. 5x divided by 5 is, well, this side. What is 5x divided by 5?
0.
Just x. Right? So x equals 10 divided by 5, which is, as you said, 2. Am I done? I have x equals.
So
You have to do that.
Yeah, I still have a whole other equation. Oh, yeah. Of course. Okay. 5x plus 3 equals negative 13. Now, I want you to notice that the steps to solving it are going to be the exact same. So I start by subtracting 3. In this case, I get 5x equals negative 13 minus 3. So I have negative 13, and then I take 3 more away from that.
negative 16.
Negative 16. Okay. 5x equals negative 16. Again, I do the same step over there. I divide by 5. X equals, this is a fraction, negative 16 fifths. There's no way to reduce that fraction or simplify it. So I just leave it as a fraction. And that's totally fine. You can have a fraction for an answer. In fact, you will often get fractions for answers in these because it's harder for me to write absolute value problems that don't come out to fractions than it was for me to write just the regular equations we practice solving. The reason for that is there are 2 solutions. So you'll notice, like this one, it came out to have one solution that is not a fraction, but the other solution is a fraction. And that's going to happen a lot just because of the way these problems interact. All right. Questions on these? So all of this stuff is all stuff you know how to do. The real new step is going from here to here, getting rid of these annoying little vertical lines. All right.